You're watching Agenda, and we're coming to you after a weekend when there's been lots of talk about Digital India, when the Prime Minister has been visiting the headquarters of Google and Facebook. And yet, what is ironic is that it's also been a weekend, in fact 3 days in the valley without the internet. And it's not just the valley which has on several occasions been cut out because of security reasons from the online world, but also Gujarat. Godhra went 24 hours without the internet because there was a security scare around Ganesh Visarjan where inflammatory messages were being passed around. And so here on Agenda, with our student young audience, we're asking, does this really go with Digital India? Is security, what are the circumstances in which it is justified? Joining us, we have Rajya Sabha MP Rajiv Chandrasekhar, who has been talking a lot about free speech. He's also someone who is quite concerned with security. From Srinagar, we have two young people talking about their experiences, what it's been like to have Eid without the internet. That's Sajid Sheikh and Raja Muneed. Here we have young Kashmiri writer and journalist Sameer Ashrat Khatlani, and of course Nikhil Pava of Media Nama. The first talking point really is that the internet ban, is it happening too frequently? Do you think it is?
I think these are panic reactions in a sense. The security agencies don't know how to deal with the internet, and the first reaction is to ban it, and that's what it looks like, because we've seen in the past, even with the northeastern blocks, where there were Twitter handles which were blocked at that point in time.
You're talking about what happened in Bangalore.
In Bangalore, and now it seems as if there is just an instance, whenever they are worried, there's a blanket ban. This is a grave cause for concern, but at the same time there are security concerns, in the sense there's very little authenticated information available on the internet. Rumors can spread, images can be faked, and perhaps we don't have the kind of information which the security agencies do.
Okay.
So I'm not trying to second guess them, but I think we should keep in mind that the way to address misinformation is with authenticated information.
Yeah. I just wanted to, before we started the show, and our young audience, they're all college going people, I was asking them, can they imagine life without the internet? Can you? No. Have you ever been without the internet even for a single day? No. Okay, so I just wanted to go across to Srinagar. Sajad, when you hear, just tell us what your experience was to not be able to send out messages on Eid.
It's really bad, and I would like to say that we are like used to it, and it has been happening for about a long time, from 2008 till now. But what is more concern is that the government used to take off the mobile internet. Right now, what happened in these 2-3 days was that even the home users were denied internet access. The landlines, the broadbands were cut off. Because of that, I really fail to understand why the home users were made to suffer. It was not only home users. I went to a petrol pump yesterday to get diesel for my car, and I could not get the diesel because I was not carrying cash, and the POS at the petrol pump was not working. The businesses have suffered. This is the time when the government is going to start the tourism festival in the valley, and they have the theme of this year's tourism is 1 billion tourists, and whole of the tourism industry of the valley depends on internet. The bookings happen over the internet, and what we saw right now, it was like being totally separated from the world. The newspapers were not able to get news reports. People were not able to send messages. Sending messages across is a small thing, but what happened was it was a big blot to the tourism industry and our businesses, the IT industry. Banning mobile internet is okay, that rumors can spend, or anything which can hurt the peace process and law and order situation. I really fail to understand why the government banned the landline, the broadband services, and the home users, and the corporate internets as well. It seems that the government is clueless about what they are doing.
Rajiv Chandrasekhar, do you want to comment on this? What Sajad is saying is, at one end, we were speaking to people in Gujarat. Unfortunately, we don't have connectivity in Godhra, so we couldn't get someone live from there. We have someone, of course, we have Sajad and Muneed joining us from Srinagar. But they were saying it's just mobile internet which was banned in Godhra. And they're also saying, but people who suffered were the ones who have startup industries. They were saying they've already been 7 days because of the whole Patel protest they did. So what is it which justifies it, and why is it happening so frequently, Rajiv Chandrasekhar?
No, I think, Sunetra, I think somebody at the top of your program mentioned that our information security agencies are behind the curve in terms of how to handle malicious propaganda online. Now, we have to accept two basic realities of the internet. While the internet is obviously a platform for free expression and innovation and creativity, it is also becoming increasingly a platform that is being misused by elements for propaganda, false information, inciting, and so on and so forth. Now, that is not unusual for India. It is the same case all over the world. But unfortunately, the difference between India and the rest of the world is that our law enforcement agencies do not have the capacity and the ability to selectively target the wrongdoers on the internet. And so therefore, they go out and do what we are seeing today, which is to bring the whole net down.
Do you think it's just a problem that they're not being able to target, that there are actually good intentions behind this?
No, I agree with what the previous speaker said.
Rajiv Chandrasekhar, yeah.
But has it served any purpose? I mean, I was in Kashmir a week back, and these bans have happened in the past as well. It hasn't served any purpose. There are more pent-up emotions. People are getting angrier and angrier because of all these bans. I don't think all points are well taken, but I don't think these bans have served any purpose. These bans have made things even worse.
And you know, one of the things that I just want to throw out at you is that when I spoke to security officers, we wanted them to come on the show as well. They all said, look, it's required, and that's what some of the points that you all made as well, that on certain points, especially apparently in Godhra, certain community members were afraid of these inflammatory WhatsApp messages going around. They went to the police and wanted them to take action, and the action that they thought possible was of taking off mobile internet. But
no,
yeah.
but how does that help? The fact is that when there isn't legitimate, credible, authoritative information available to people, and that can be communicated both through mobile and SMS as well as the internet, in fact, more effectively from using SMS. If, for example, the Chief Minister of Gujarat could have done a video message which would have been delivered via the mobile internet and the internet, saying that do not worry, our agencies are with you, our police is with you. In case you have any concerns, please contact this number.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what's happening is that the ban on the internet is preventing civic officials, government officials from actually doing their job of reaching out to people. I mean,
which is what should be happening.
Also, look at it this way. Just last night, the Prime Minister spoke so eloquently about using social media and not being afraid of social media, and to reach out to citizens, allowing them to reach out to him. Every single chief minister in this country ought to be doing the same thing.
Well, if somebody had to post something during these 3 days, they'll do it after the ban is over. So it doesn't serve any purpose.
And it essentially creates a situation of panic.
Okay, so Rajiv Chandrasekhar, one of the things that many people are asking is, when the Prime Minister goes out, he was in Silicon Valley, and when he talks about, he's only talking about offline. That's what you were saying, right?
Offline and online are the only two things that matter.
Offline and online. So is there like a mixed messaging that we're getting from the government? Because Gujarat has seen many days in the recent past without any internet.
No, so Sunetra, let me clarify that I am not in favor of bans. So let me say that, just get out off the table to start with. But you must understand the reality of security agencies, and this is not unique to India alone. This is India, UK, USA. The security agencies are so paranoid about losing the fight to propaganda. And this is true for the ISIS versus the Twitter, ISIS versus Facebook, propaganda during the London riots, rumors during the London riots. This is something now almost deeply inbuilt into the security agencies. I am saying that they all have the powers to take down the internet, but these are to be passing the test of reasonableness with evidence that the internet takedown is justified. The problem in India is that these takedowns are almost unilateral and unchallenged.
So the question is, are we the only nation which has these threats? Because are we the only people doing it?
There is this, and in the Arab Spring, internet was shut down later, and most of the telecom operators even shut down mobile services. So yes, there is precedence, but I'd like to go back to another point, which is about, is it legal? And if you saw the Supreme Court judgment in the Shreya Singhal case, the 66A judgment,
Yeah.
the Supreme Court clearly identified the situations according to which you can arrest people, and I think the same thing should be applied to free speech.
Okay.
Which was that that advocacy is fine, but if there is incitement to violence,
Yeah.
then you should be arresting those people. In this case, instead of shutting down the internet, they should have identified all the sources of people who were spreading this information,
Yeah.
and gone after them.
This information, intimidation online happens all the time.
Yeah.
We face it all the time, but you don't ban it
Exactly,
anywhere
Sunetra.
or elsewhere.
Yeah,
This
Only
is-
when it comes to Kashmir, and now Gujarat is an exception to the rule.
Yeah, you're disagreeing
I would
with.
disagree with that. I think we've seen it in Gujarat as well, and we are like, I remember we are going to see other instances also.
Yeah.
It is not just a few specific areas. I think this is a natural reaction.
Rajiv
that's gonna take
Chandrasekhar, you
place.
wanted to quickly add? I wanted to go across to Muneed as well. You wanted to quickly add?
Yeah, and that is exactly the point. Sunita, this is exactly the point. We are allowing law enforcement agencies to do this the easy way. That is not acceptable.
Okay, so we're going to take a short break now. When we come back, we're going to get more reactions in. And what kind of pressure, because obviously there have been lots of instances now of the enforcement agencies doing that. What kind of pressure can there be on them to not make this their first initial knee-jerk reaction? We'll be back in just a bit.